Okay, so you're talking about strings. So what is a string, right? So string is a collection of characters, right? It's basically characters. In Python, everything is treated as class and objects, right? We treat almost everything as class and objects. So in a way, strings is also a class, right? Now we will discuss about class and objects in great detail later, maybe after another 4 or 5 classes. But let's have some introduction about classes. What does class mean? And then, how does string can become a class? So the whole thing about programming started when people started thinking about how to make programming very real life situation. So this is long time back when C was born, and we used procedural programming. And they thought, they in the sense the developers of programming languages, they thought that it's better that we try to mimic the way we work. So if you look at us, we work in terms of objects. Okay, what does that mean is, let's say three of us are here for a class. So this training is a, a part of our life. Obviously, this is not everything for us, right? This is one part of our life. And then after this training, all three of us go and do three different things, right? So it is important that you create an object and add various properties to it. So for example, again, let's take apple. So if I'm fruit apple. So when you talk about fruit apple, I don't have to explain what apple is, right? Because we all know what apple is. We've been taught in school or when we were young or by our parents what apples look like. Okay, how is apple? So the definition is given. We all know the definition. But to use an apple, okay, whether you want to eat it or you want to put it in salad or you want to make apple pie or whatever, you need to get hold of actual apple, right? That's called object. So definition is a class, okay? But when you start using it, actually, you have to create an instant of the class. We call it as object. So we all know what strings are. Strings are something that contains alphabets and blah, blah. But if I have to use a string, if I have to work with a string, I have to create a specific string. We can know everything about Apple, okay? Oh, what is the color, what is the size, what is the price, what is the nutrients inside, everything is fine, we can get it in theory. But to use it, we need an object, we need to create an object. And we can create any number of objects. Apple as a class is only one, the definition is only one, which is global. But as a usage, we can create any number of objects and use it. So strings in Python, we know what strings in Python is. But to use it, we have to create an object. So if I say str1, let's say this is a variable name, and I say hello. Now it means that str1 is an object of class string. Okay, so what does object mean? Okay, or what does class contain? So object is a reflection of class, right? So whatever you do in class is reflected in object. Whatever you define in class is reflected in object. So what is an object? Okay, or what do we define in a class? We define two things in a class. One is the property and the application. Okay, so in terms of programming language, we define variables and functions. Okay, again, we haven't spoken about we'll see how to create our own functions, we'll see how to create our own class. But till then, just understand this concept that your class will have variables and functions. Functions we have seen, okay, like input, print, int, and things like that. So when you have functions in which you can use independently, they're called functions. But if function is part of a class, then we call them methods. So methods versus functions. Okay, these are independent. Functions are independent. Like print is a independent function. And if you define function within a class, function in a class is called method. That's the difference between method and function. So you cannot use a method independently. You have to have an object and you have to then call a method of object. So we discussed that str1 is a object of class string, right? So we said str1 is an object of class string, right? Or str, that's what we call in Python. Now I have to call the methods. Okay, methods are like functions, just that you can't call independent. You can't call, okay, like print. You have to say str1 dot. All the methods are called by object name dot method. Object name dot, okay, and then you give the method name. All these MUC, these are all methods. Okay, we are going to learn the important ones. There are many. We'll learn some of these important ones. Okay, so there are some methods which starts with is, and then you say is digit, is alpha, is space, is alnum, lower, upper, title, decimal, etc. What does this mean? This means this is like asking a question. Like for example, is digit. Is str1 a digit or it contains digit? Okay. Now, if I define str2, let's say, equal to, some numbers. Okay. And then if I check, is str2 is digit? Okay. Answer will be yes, true. Because str2 contains only digits. Okay, it contains only digits, right? So methods, they perform certain tasks. Again, going back to the Apple example, if I say that I'm playing baseball with Apple, will you believe me? You can't believe, right? How, you can't play, baseball with Apple. One shot and it's gone, right? But if I say I'm eating an apple, you will not be shocked, right? You'll be, yeah, so what, right? So these are like properties. Okay, so each object will have some set of properties, relevant properties. So here we have some properties which is defined using dot and the property name. Okay, now there are some properties which starts with is, right? We saw the list. Is like asking a question. Is question. So question and answer has to be either true or false. So all the is related functions or methods that we have, methods, right? Because it's in class, all the is related methods that we have in the class string will give us result as either true or false. So first one we are checking, is it digit? Okay, str1, is it digit? Answer is yes. str1, sorry, str2, right? str2 are all digit. So you get true here. But if I do same thing with str1, okay, str1 is what? Hello. str1 does not have only digit. I mean, does not have digit, right? So you get false. Even if I add a digit, it's not going to serve any purpose because there are some text also. So it will still be false. Only if it has all digit, that's when you'll get true. Otherwise, it will be false. Now, one application of this is when you're reading, let's say you're reading some value, right? We discussed about using input, you can read some value. So let's say if I say here num1 equal to input and I say enter a number, right? We did that is before, correct? Where we are reading input from the user. So after doing an input, we want to translate or convert this into integer. So we say int of, right? So that's how you can convert the input value as number. So, I mean, I can say print num1 equal to num1, right? Now, when I enter here, enter a number, I enter 45, it works well, you get 45. But what if I enter 40, something like this? T is not a integer. So you can't convert this in, when you have non-integer value, non-digit value. Okay. So we'll talk about what is value error in exception handling. Okay. So exception handling is the best way to handle such error. Exception handling is done when to handle, we call them as runtime errors. The runtime errors are errors which happen at runtime. Okay, errors. If I let's say if I miss a bracket, if I miss a bracket to give here, okay, and when I say run, it will be caught immediately before the program is run. It says, was never closed. So you get this error fixed or caught before you run it. But Python will not know that the user will make a mistake, isn't it? So these are called as runtime errors. Okay. At runtime, depending upon what value you're holding or you're pushing into it, based on that, you get an error. Okay. So sometimes it can give error, sometimes it may not give error. They're called runtime error, and we use exception handling to handle runtime errors. So this is the preferred way. Okay. So I'm not saying that what I'm going to do now, which I'm going to do now, is the effective way. This is the effective way. Okay. But there is another way to do it. What? I'm not going to convert this into integer first. Okay. What I'll do is I'm going to say if num1 dot is digit. I'm checking. Is it true? Then I'm going to say num1 equal to int of num1. Now I'm very sure that num1 is only, it has only digits, and if I convert into integer, it will work fine. Okay, and I can say here num1, right? So int num1, and I can say here else. Okay, I can print you have not entered a valid number, hence setting num1 to 0. Okay, and then you can set num1 equal to 0. Okay, so now when I run it, okay, enter a number, I say 5t. So when I enter 5t, it does not have all digits, right? It became false, so it comes to else. You have not entered a valid number, hence setting num1 to 0. And when you print num1, you get 0. Okay, and now if I run it, and now if I enter a valid number 4, see, num1 is 4. It's, we can easily convert into integer. So this is one application of isDigit. You are checking, is that the string value that you have, does it contain only numbers or it has non-numbers also? Non-numbers can be anything. It can be alphabet, can be a special character, can be space, hyphen, comma, full stop, anything, right? So we're just checking, does it have only numbers or anything else other than numbers? So in this case, luckily we have only numbers. So, okay, we are able to translate. Otherwise, we will have to handle it differently. Okay, so this is an application of isDigit. You can check if the value is in isDigit or not. We have something called as alnum. Okay, str1. Okay, let's first create this and then we'll copy it. Comma str1 dot is alphabet, let's say. So just like you have isDigit, which checks only for digit, isAlpha will check for alphabets. So can you guess me? Can you guess what kind of values it can have for us to get it true? So we're talking about str1, right? Will this return true or false?
False.
False?
It's false.
It has to be true, isn't it? It has only alphabet, correct? So
I must have misunderstood the question. What was the question?
yeah, is alpha, right? Is alpha
yeah,
is
alpha.
to check. Yeah,
Okay.
so it is to check if that variable, okay, has only alphabet or anything else. Is alpha is like it has to have only alphabet, nothing else. Now, if I ask hello there, now tell me, will it be true or false?
Is alpha true?
True. Okay. And if I say 1, 2, 3,
It's still true.
okay. So now it'll be both the cases will be false because we're checking for alpha and it should have only alphabet. Any non-alphabet will return false. So when we run this, okay, when we run it, see, you get it false because this is number, this is not alphabet. Okay, now if I delete it, even this is going to give us false because this has a space here. Alphabet means it's just A to Z, isn't it? Okay, so you can have capital A to Z or small a to Z. You can't have anything else other than those 26 characters. Alphabets means only 24, 26 characters. Anything other than 26 character, you'll get it false. So since you have space here, this also gives false. Now if I remove space, and now when I check, yes, it will be true. So this is how you can check if it has only alphabet, only digit, only alphabet. Then you have something called as say str1 dot title. Okay, not title. I'm talking about all is, right? First, is space. Is space is to check that if the user has entered all blank spaces or has entered any value or not. Is space will check only if it is a blank value. And if it is blank, you'll get true, else you get false. Is space will check only for blank values. If it is blank space, if it is space, it is true. Otherwise, it will be false. Right? So if I say something like print, okay, this is blank space. This is a string, isn't it? This is going to be true, okay, because it is a blank space. Okay, then you have something called as str1 dot is space alpha digit alnum. Okay, alnum means it can accept only alphabet and numeric, nothing else. Alphabets are your 26 characters A to Z and numbers are 0 to 9. So anything apart from these alphabets and number, it's going to give us false. So if you want to check if a string has only alphabet or number, then you use alnum. Okay, it can have only alphabet, it can have only number, it can have mix of alphabet and number. All three conditions are allowed. Okay, but space, hyphen, all those things are not allowed. Okay, so even if you have all numbers, also it will be true. Is alnum will be true. What it says is it should have alphabet or numbers, alphabet or numeric. So it can have both, it can have just one. I mean to say only alphabet or numbers, it will be true. Anything else other than that, it will be false. Okay, sorry. str1 dot is. Okay, so yeah. Then you have these check for cases. Lower, upper, title. Okay. Lower is upper, sorry, and is title. Lower case, okay, lower is to check lower case. If your text in str1 is all lower, so we're talking about text, okay, not only of alphabet. So you can have alphabet, space, numbers, all fine, but your alphabets has to be all lowercase. Okay, so if I say here str1 equal to hello there 1 2 3, and now I'm going to check here print alphabet lower and I run it. So you see, it says true. Why? Because everything in str1 here is true. That is,
Sure. I have a question for you.
yes,
So I think I understand like this ISA is really just a check system to see
correct,
what type of data it is. But what would be the reason for using this?
correct. So see, I just told you, right? For digit, this is the reason, right? You can have this where you want to check, right? If I want to convert a string into integer, I cannot do it if it has anything else other than digit, right? So that's one. Now, if we talk about is alphabet, let's say you're checking a name, right? You're using a form registration. Okay, you are asking the user to enter their name. Name cannot have anything other than alphabet, right? So this is where you can check. Does it have alphabet or not? You're talking about password. Let's say a password condition is that the password can have just the number and the text. It cannot have anything else. Username, for example. Okay, you are developing an application and you're saying that username has to be just alphabet or number, not anything else. Straight away you can use alnum, right? Now I want to check. So this is what is digit, is alpha, and alnum, things like that. Now for lowercase is you are talking about again password, or mostly where we use is, let's say you want to compare let's say in while itself, if you again say so if I enter choice and I say equal to input and I say enter y to continue, for example. Now when you say y to continue, user can give smaller lowercase y also, uppercase y also, right? So you should be able to handle both y, right? So that's where you can check whether it is lowercase or uppercase. If it is lowercase and you want uppercase, you can convert into uppercase. If it is lowercase is what you want, then you can go ahead and use lowercase, right? So of course, these are the capabilities, and depending upon your situation, you'll have to pick and use these. Did I make sense?
I think I understand like the when and how was checking. I
Correct.
just like I guess what I was asking is it seems like it's a check system, like to check to make sure a certain input is done in a certain data
Correct.
type or whatever.
Correct.
So I understand that part of it. I guess I was asking was, is it a command like, so say I'm the user and I'm going to put in the password, and the password can be a combination of numbers and letters. So that's when it'll be which one is that? Is alnum.
Right. So see, you'll have to see if it's straightforward. Let's say if your condition is password. Okay, no, password is probably not a good example. Let's say username, right? They say that username can have only alphabet and or numbers, correct? You cannot use, let's say, you cannot use @ or hyphen in your username. For example, if you talk about your Gmail ID, right? So Gmail or other email IDs, they don't allow anything other than dot, right? And most of the older email systems, you see, they don't even allow dot. You can have only number or text as your username. So straightforward, right? So this is straightforward checking. But sometimes, and in fact many times, what happens is you'll have to use 2-3 combinations together. You have to use, like for example, um let's say name, right? Now name, okay, if you ask user to enter full name, or let's say first name, enter first name. Now some people, okay, might enter two names, right? Let's say ABC space XYZ. Now here, just checking if it is alphabet may not be right, right? Some people generally can enter two names in their first name, right? If somebody has three, four
It's a
names, they
space.
might, right? So yes, so you'll have to do combination of alphabet as well as space. So you have to use two of those functions together to verify this. Okay, so yes, mostly these are the functions, and I'm going to show you a few more. These are the functions that you are going to use very often whenever you're dealing with text data. Whenever you're dealing with text data, you will have to use these functions in some form or the other form.
I guess what I was trying to figure out more was like, so like, so say you're writing a code or you're writing a program.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't actually use these while you're writing a program. You would use these more if you were trying to figure out a problem with the program.
No, no, no. So, okay, now I think I get it. No, no, no. So now if you're writing your application for the first time, login application for the first time, right? So you'll have to make those checks in your program, isn't it? At UI end itself.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, let me, I have one example. I'll quickly break that down a bit. So generally, after we are done, I'm going to share this assignment. Okay. Now, I'll just share those examples so that you know. Okay. Uh, okay. You see these questions?
Yes.
So this is what I'm going to share with you. And now you see here, for example, write a Python program to count number of vowels using sets, whatever, right? Write a program to count number of vowels, right? Check if a substring is present in a given string or not, right? So, these are some of the practical question where you'll have to use, not all, of course, but you might have to use combination of few of those methods together to solve these kind of problems. A program to count upper and lower case characters without using inbuilt function. Program to count uppercase and lowercase. Okay. To check if two strings are in alphabetical order or not, you have to sort them alphabetical order. So these things, okay, you will have to use some of those methods. So answer is first time when you write, as you said, correct. Okay, second time, but first time when you're building your checks in your program, you'll have to use those is conditions, isn't it? Is methods.
I understand now.
Okay, perfect. So similarly, you can check if it is uppercase. Uppercase means all capital. And title is first letter of every word should be capital. That's what title means. First letter of every word. Okay. So these are some of the is function methods that are available. I'm going to move them away so that I don't have to run all these again and again. Let me put it in this location. Okay. Now there are a few other functions. Let's say I say str1 equal to hello. Okay, and now you have str1 dot replace. Okay, so before that, one important thing. Strings are immutable. Strings are immutable. Immutable means you cannot edit a string. When you define a string, let's say hello, str1 equal to hello. That's what we have defined here, right? I cannot, let's say I want to convert h to y, let's say, or to p or b or whatever. You cannot do that. You cannot edit a string. Okay. We can always replace the string. Replace is allowed, but not, okay, editing it. So what do we mean by editing it? Let's say we know that str of 0 will be what? H, correct? We said that counting starts from 0 to n minus 1. So if I say str1 of 0, and we are using square bracket, right? So if I say print here, you get H. Now I cannot say str of 0 equal to k, let's say. I want to call it as kello, right? I cannot do that. Okay, this is called, okay, now when I run it, you see this error, type error. str object does not support item assignment. Does not support item assignment. This is what is called as immutable. You cannot edit. I cannot edit it. Yes, I can replace. I can say str1 equal to kello. This I can do. So here I'm replacing it. Okay, so it's like, you have a bag, and you got your laptop. You take out laptop and put your books. Fine, but I cannot, put laptop and books together. In a bad way, or in a simple way to talk about it, not a program example. You cannot edit it. You can replace the content. So str1 equal to kello is like totally replacing it, not editing it. Editing means what? I want to replace only 5th character or 1st character, 3rd character. I cannot do that. So if I have to achieve something like this, okay, what I can do is I can say str1 off. Because when I say str1 off, that means I'm changing the value. I'm completely replacing the value. And I can say str1 of 0 plus str1 of from 1 till the end. Okay, so this is how we read 1st character, and this is how we read rest of the characters, right? Starting from 1, go up to n. This is what we said, right? So if you print this will be hello, right? str of 1 of 0 is h, and from 1 till the end is ello, right? This is what we did yesterday, ello. So it became hello. Now here, instead of str1 of 0, I can say k. Now you get kello. Okay, so I'm kind of using the knowledge to get a different output. I want kello. So I cannot simply just change one character. I have to change, okay, I have to replace the existing value with a new value. And I can be creative enough to change the right side thing. Left side has to be str1 equal to only, because you cannot edit the value. But right side, I can be creative enough to get what I want. Okay. So yeah, so not talking about replace. So when I say str2 equal to how are you, I want to replace you with they. I want to replace you with they. I want to say how are they. Okay, so I can say str2 dot replace. You have an option called replace. Now replace self, ignore self. Every object, that means every method will have self. It indicates that this is a object level method, so we don't have to do anything with it. Okay, just ignore the self. We don't have to pass any value. So now it says old content versus new content. Old content versus new content. Okay, and then count how many times you want to replace. Okay, so it says old content, I want to replace you with new content, they. How many times you want to replace? Okay, let's not give the count yet. So it takes 3 parameters: old value, new value, and count how many times you want to replace. So how are you? Where are you? How are you? Where are you? You are welcome. Let's say this. Now, when I do replace, and let me print the value of str. So I'm going to say after replace. After replace str2. Okay. So I'm trying to replace all you with they. Right. Now when I run it, it says after replace you have how are you, where are you, you are welcome. So what happened? Okay, now it temporarily replaced, because I told you we cannot change the value of str2, isn't it? So str2 is not being changed. So what I'll do is you replace it and save it in a new str. I call it as str3. You cannot replace the existing value. You cannot replace the existing value. So it is changing, but it is not giving us a new value, just like this. So we are doing logic, we are being creative here, but this is not going to replace the existing original string. We have to catch it like a new string. So I'm going to say str3. Now let's print str3. So it says, how are they? See, the u is replaced with they. But what happened to second u and third u? They did not get
Lowercase.
replaced. Why?
It was lowercase and it's uppercase.
Exactly. So text match happens on cases. It has to have exactly same case. Okay. Now, one option is if you put capital U here and here, they'll also get replaced. But let's say this is what you got. Your good luck or bad luck, this is what you got. So what do we do? So first, we either replace all of them with lowercase or we replace all of them with uppercase. Okay, so str2 dot, okay, replace later. First, we'll convert to lowercase. So dot lower, dot upper, dot title will convert to uppercase, lowercase, or title case. So I'm saying str2 dot lower, and now I'm saying replace. Now when I convert everything to excuse me. So if I convert everything to lowercase, then obviously there is nothing called as capital U. Nothing will be replaced, right? Because when you convert everything to lower, you have to check with lowercase, isn't it? So it becomes all lower. And then up to you if you want to keep it capital or lower, it's up to you. Okay. So how are they? Where are they? They are welcome. So this is how, because text analysis in any language, okay, not only Python, in database also, or Java's, any language, text analysis is always case sensitive. Always case sensitive. Okay, that's why password and all, it is case sensitive, right? So already this logic is built inside, so that we don't have to check for cases. Okay, you don't have to check for cases. You can directly say equal to. If it is equal to, means cases also have to be same, value have to be same, and case also have to be same. So strings are always case sensitive in any language for that matter, including Python. So it is case sensitive. So okay, so if there's a perfect matching, if your intention is to do perfect matching, then fine, you don't have to do the replace thing. Then you can directly do the replace. You don't have to do the lower thing. Directly do the replace. But if intention is to replace all occurrences of U irrespective of the cases, then this is the only way you can do it. Or you convert into all upper, right? You can convert into all upper, and then you say you with they. This is also fine. But but you have to, because see, if you don't know your enemy, right, how can you fight? So first you need to know your enemy, right? So let's assume this is enemy. So you are knowing, okay, I don't know whether it will lowercase or uppercase. So let me first convert into all lowercase only. When I know it is all lowercase, then I can fight with lowercase. In this case, I'm converting everything to uppercase. Now I can fight with uppercase. So generally, lowercase is preferred because uppercase is, it's like, too bold, and it kind of creates, that kind of impression to our eyes, right? Like, like shouting kind of thing, right? So that's why most of the time you see people prefer lowercase when you write letter, things like that. Most of the letters are lowercase, right? It looks soothing to our eyes. That's what people say. So you can convert it to lower, and then you say lower and they. Now let's say I don't want to convert all the u. I want to convert only first two occurrences of u. So I will say count, comma, 2. Now when you do 2 here, so you see, how are they? Where are they? But this u is still there because we said, replace only two occurrences of u. So 2 means first two occurrences. Okay. So this is how you will do replace. Okay. So before you perform replace, now let's say I want to, I want to say your, and your is not there. What happens? Okay. It did not find. It did not find, so no replacement happened. Okay. It's looking for your, right? It is looking for your, and your did not happen. Is not there. So, okay, it did not replace. So you get original text. But what if, okay, if value was your and you are trying to search for you, right? So it would have replaced your, right, with their, with THEYR. So, you could have said in that case your u space, right? If it's a u space and if you have your here, it will not get replaced, right? And otherwise, if you don't give space, okay, this u of your will get replaced, right? So I'm just trying to say that you have to be careful. You have to be careful with what you use. So it's like tools, right? You have so many tools, okay? What you need for gardening is different. What you need to repair your toolbox is different. What you need for electrical work is different. Right? So all these are tools available to you. Depending upon what your goal, what do you want to do, you need to choose the right tool. So one other important thing here is called find. Okay. So find will find you if the value is there, okay, in that string or not. Okay, so see, we also discussed about in. Okay, so let's say this is your str2. Okay, str2, if you print, it will be exactly same. Okay, we are not changing str2, right? We are only converting, changing and putting in str3. So str2 is going to be same. No, here we are changing dot lower, we are changing. So str2 is the way, what happened? Nice, str3, right? Not 2. So the value will not get changed. It is the same, u and u and u, right? Now let's say I want to find if y or u is there or not. So one option is you say u, y, o, u in str2. Okay, so true, because u is there in str2. This is str2. So u is there, so it will tell you true. So if you want to search for a given string, let's say if you want to see if your name is there in the entire list or not, right? So you can put your name and say in, and it'll tell you true or false. But if you want to know at what position it is, okay, where in that list, okay, u is there, but where exactly in the whole string the u is there, what is the location of u, that's when you will say find. So I'm going to say here print str2 dot find. Okay, and now find okay, has substring, start and end. What does that mean? So find has substring. Substring is the string that you want to search, right? And start and the end. Between which and which index. So if I don't mention, if I just give y or u here, substring, it will give me, okay, 13. 13 means the u is found in the 13th position. So this is your str2, right? So this is, okay, from here is str2, from how? No. I'm not printing, right? I changed it, yes. This is str2, right? So in str2, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So see, u is found at 13th position. Y and Y matching happen at 13. That's why we got 13. 13 is the position where it matched. This you did not match because obviously case is different. So if I have to find, capital, I can put capital, or I can say str2 dot lower and then find, right? So now you won't get 13, but you'll get lower, right? So here you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how you got 8 here. Perfect match. Okay, so find will tell us where exactly in the data it is there. Now, if it is not there, let's say if I say something youth, and let's say it's not there, or youth, let's say it's not there here, right? So you get -1. -1 indicates that you could not find. Okay, the value is not there in the main string. Okay. Okay. So now let's say I want to find, okay, u here. Now I want to find second occurrence of u, not the first occurrence. Find will always give us the first occurrence, right? So now it is found at 8th position, so you got 8. But I want to find the second position, not the first position. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll say find, okay, find, this is your substring, then you give a start. Start, I give 9. That means I want to find after 8. So if I give 9, comma, whatever, or you don't give, okay, you give only start value. So it gives 13 because I said after 9th find the position. So before 9, if it is there also, it will ignore. Okay, after 9th, the next occurrence is at 13th position. Okay, so this is how you create your find. One last operation we'll do. Okay, string is probably the one of the one that has a maximum number of methods. Okay, other things will not have so many. String has many. String has many because working with string is difficult. Okay, working with string is difficult. So you have to go and check each line, each letter, to know if it is matching your requirement. So that's why you will see that the string has lot more methods than anybody else, anything else, right? But when you do the list tuple dictionaries, we will not have to deal with so many methods. Okay, that's okay. But only with text we have, because text can be really complex. You're checking for a password, you're checking for a string, you're checking with cases, all of these cases, then numbers, digit, your alphabets, all this brings complexity to text. So that's why there are many. Okay, so it requires a lot of practice, if you want to master every aspect of string. So I'm going to share the same link which I showed you, right? Try to solve as many of those over the weekend. And if you're not able to solve, Monday we can sit in the class and do it. Okay. Okay. So, okay. So this is lower. One last thing, as I said, we'll do it. So we have str2. There's something called as str2 dot split. Okay. Split. Split will split the entire sentence into different words. So this is going to split the sentence into words. Okay. Now, if you want to save it, you can save it in a variable called var1 equal to str2.split. And when you say print var1, you can see everything as a word, right? How are you? Where are you? You are welcome, right? So it has splitted the string. Now, this format is called list. This is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Okay. What you see on the screen is called list. So when you save the data in a square bracket, okay, this is called collection. Okay. Collection means where you are saving more than one value. So in a way, your string is also collection. In a way, string is also a collection because it has more than one character that we are doing. Okay. Integer float are not collection because they can store only one value at a time, right? When you say a equal to, you can either say a equal to 5 or a equal to 7. You cannot say a equal to 5, 7, right? So that's not collection. Those are your basic data type. We call them primitive data types, primitive or basic data type. Collections, okay, and we are getting into collections. So string is somewhere in between. Okay, some people call it collection, some people don't call it collection. Okay, but it's up to you whatever you feel like. But it matches the collection because you can store more than one value, isn't it? With same reference, with same name. Now this is called list, and this is what our topic will be for tomorrow. That you can store multiple values with a one single name. Okay, and these values are put under square bracket. Okay, they're put under square bracket. This is called list. Okay, so your split will always give you list. When you split some content, it will always give you list. Now let's say I want to join them together. So var1 is this, and I want to join this var1 as a single sentence. Hey, just give me 1 second. There's a lot of noise coming in. Just give me a second. I'll be back. Okay, so talking about a split, right? So split will split into list. Now, if you have to join them together, okay, so you can say here blank string because join is a string method. So when I indicate something like this, it means it's a blank string, and then I say dot join. Okay, and you pass var1 here. And now if you say str5 equal to something like this, and now let me print str5. You see, how are you? Where are you? I'm getting hiccups. You are welcome. Right? Now, okay, so what it did, it combined, but it's not, it hasn't added any space in between, isn't it? So to add space in between, you go and put a space. You add a space in between. So see, it has joined perfectly. Now, if you want to give hyphen in between, you can give hyphen in between. So whatever you give here, that will be added between the words. Same thing with split also. Let's say you don't want to split on blank spaces. Okay, you want to split on O, let's say. So for you, let's say you want to split. So generally when we read this CSV file, right? CSV files might have a pipe or hyphen or comma as separator, right? So you want to split them on the basis of those special characters. So you can give that character here. Let's say I want to do an O here, for example. So O will be treated as space. And when you run this, you see O is a separator. So H became one word. Okay, O is gone. O is gone. And from W to next O, small o, right? Small o. So from W to next small o became next word. Okay. Then from, and I can join using small o. If I do join using small o, so you get the exact text. So this is how you can split a text based on whatever character you give. You can join a text. Okay, join a text may not be the right word. Join a list of values, because it is a list that we are joining, right? Yeah, this is a list. And you can join them together to form a single sentence. Right? So that we kind of covered all the methods. Maybe we'll do a couple of examples before we end the day. Any questions so far? All good?
All good.
Right? Great. So yeah, the thing is, it's all about practice, right? You practice, you see how it is coming, and you go back and change. That's all. Oh. So I'm just thinking of a example. Let's say you take a string, okay, and sorry. Let me move this here. Let's say we take a string, okay, and you add ing at the end. Okay, so if you take, let's say, ABC. So if you enter ABC, if you enter ABC, it should return ABCING. Okay, but if this letter already has ing, let's say ABING, then it should return ABINGLY. Okay, so this is the requirement. Requirement is read each word and check the last three characters. Check the last three characters. Okay, if the last three character is ing, then you append ly to the word. And if the last three character is not ing, then you add ing to it. Wow. Okay, so let's take the input from user. I'm going to say text equal to input. Enter the word. Okay, so this is our word. Okay. Now, before we perform, right, we need to check the last three character. How do we check the last three character? If input text last three characters. We did that yesterday. So last three character means -1, -2, -3. From -3 till the end, right? So indexing starts from minus also in string, isn't it? So you start from sorry, right hand side, you go -1, -2, -3. So you have -3 colon nothing. If you give, it means up to the end. So if this is equal to ing. Now ing I'm giving in small. The last this word could have been in capital also. So what we'll do is we'll convert it into lower first. So we'll convert into a format that we know, and then we'll check with ing. You can convert with capital also and check it. Okay. So now we'll say if last three character and lower is equal to ing, if it is equal to ing, then what we do, the output text will be input text plus ly, right? Else your output text will be input text plus ing. And I can say output equal to blank, nothing. And now you can print output text is output. Okay, let's run it and see. Word bring became bringly, right? If I run it and if I say able, it should be abling, right? That's what our aim was, correct? String, stringly, but playing, right? So this is one example of the things that we learn. Now let's say we got a text. I want to find the, okay, that will be better for list actually. Or you can, let's do with string here. So, wow, sorry. Without using split and join, we'll do it. So if you have a string here, let's say this is your string, okay? I want to figure out which is the biggest or the largest word in this sentence, okay? Which is the largest word in this sentence, okay? How will I do it? So this is the given string, right? And let's say I say largest, okay, something large string equal to blank, right? And size of large string will be len of L string, right? So I'm assuming that the text does not have anything. Okay, I'm assuming the text does not have anything. Text does not have anything. Okay. Now I'm going to read each character from this. So I'm going to say form C in str1 for C in str1. So I'm going to read each character and I'm going to form the word. Okay, I'm not going to use any special inbuilt function. Okay, I'm not going to split, and that becomes much easy just to implement the logic. So what I'm doing, I will read each character. Now you see here the importance of is space will come. I want to read. So first H, then O, then W. And then when you see space, you stop there. Is space, then you stop. Okay. So I'm assuming LSTR with blank is the largest text. That means the input string when user doesn't give anything, right? User can give nothing also. Okay. And then I'm counting the size here. Next I'm doing is I'm checking if C dot is space. Is space. So if C is space, okay, then I'm going to compare what? I'm going to compare, okay, and let me also, so this is the largest string, and let me create current string. Current string equal to blank. Okay, so current string is like every time when you iterate through the list or through the string, you're forming the current string. So if it is space, then I'm going to check is, okay, if len of current string is greater than len of, in fact, I don't need to do len, right? I can delete it, okay? I can directly do here. Len of else string. So the current string is what we are going to form when it is, when you don't have, okay, when you do not have, when it is not space. So first you read H, then O, then W. You keep forming the string. The moment you encounter space, then I'm going to check that if my previous current string, okay, and len of that, is it greater? If it is greater, then your len str is going to be your current str. If current str that we have formed is greater than the assumption that we made, then we'll change len str to this. Okay. And then what we'll do is, okay, then, okay, so if it is else, do nothing. Okay, else we don't have to do anything. Okay. Now we will now reset the current str to blank. Okay. We'll reset current str to blank. Anything else have to do? Probably not. Okay. Now this is all when it is space. If it is not a space, then I will say current str equal to current str plus C. That's it. And after this, I can print largest text is. Let's see if you're able to get it or not. Okay. Enter the word. Oh, this is the previous one, right? Okay. Let me move it away. B1. Okay. So it is doing largest text is doing. Okay. Is it doing 5? Tomorrow should come also, right? So, okay. See, tomorrow is not coming because We are checking for is space. After W, there is no space. So if I give space here, it will work fine. Tomorrow will be the largest, you see. Okay, first you understand, we'll fix it, but did you understand what I did? Tior and Ray both. Just confirm me, the small program, right? It's not big program. But did you understand the logic what I did here? My objective is to find the largest word from a given sentence. To begin with, I'm assuming that blank is the largest. And then I'm checking, I'm forming each word. When do you form a word? You keep forming the word till you encounter a space. Okay, till you encounter a space, you keep forming a word. Okay, so I'm keep forming the word and checking if the previous word that was formed has a greater length than the what we assumed that it is largest. Obviously, in first case, what happens? How will be formed and how length is largest than this blank? So else tr will become how. Okay, so else tr will become how. Are you all three letter? We are comparing if it is greater. Okay, if they are not greater, they are ignored. Then doing obviously 5. So doing becomes largest. Okay, today is also 5. So ignore, and not tomorrow. Tomorrow is largest. So that's why it's showing tomorrow as largest. But when we don't give space, what happens? We are checking this thing only when it is space. So now it is not checking. So what I need to do is I need to check for space if it is not the last character, or if it is last character, or if it is last character. How do I know if it is last character? I will have to have a special, yeah, so it has to be space or it is last character. Okay, so how do I know it is last character? Oh, sorry. So I will have to do a counting. What is the counting? Counting starts from, say, I call it as index equal to 0. See, how do you know it's this thing? Because I have to find len. Len of this str1 will be a value. Let's say if it is 30, len of str will give me 30. And if count is 30, that's when you know that it is a last character. So I'm going to say inex equal to 1 because we're going to count from 1 and going to check if inex equal to len of str1. Sorry. Or I can do 0 here. And every time you read a character, I will say inex equal to inex plus 1. Sorry. Okay. Now, if I don't give space also, it should be able to figure out. Oops. In this, what happened? The last character is not read. Okay. So probably this is also not right. I have to say inex greater than. Let's see if this works. No, it did not work. Inex is okay, because last character is, so if it is last character is not there, right? It is actually not able to read it. Okay, it is because this current we are forming before only, right? Okay, so is space is fine. Okay, let me quickly check. So if it is not space, okay, so what happens? This C is not getting added. C has to get added before only. Okay, so what I'll do is if instead, okay, is space, instead what I'll do, I will remove this from here and I will say if okay, Here I will do if, sorry, INX equal to len of str1. In last, we will do this. And now I will say or, because if it is last, you have to perform both. Okay, so now when I run it, see, you got tomorrow. Is it too difficult?
It's a little confusing. I'm
Little
going to go back over
confusing.
it.
Yes, yes. Please go back over, and if you have questions, we'll do it tomorrow. So okay. So see, logic. Did you understand? Forget about the code. Forget about the code. Don't look at the code. How am I doing? What is my approach? Can you tell me? I can try to help you. What is my approach? Forget about what I did. Okay. Forget about the code. Okay. Code is secondary. First thing is that we need to understand what approach we followed. So you understood the problem, right? What I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find out the word with the largest characters, right? Largest word. So first I'm assuming that, okay, largest character is blank. There's nothing here. And now, okay, if it is not space, so I'm creating a current word, current string, which is blank. And this current string is current string plus character until you get a space. So first this is else is going to run. It's going to take blank and add a character H, then O, then W, until if it is last character, if it is a space or last character. Until space, I'm going to read this. So once the space is encountered, now I'm going to compare. I got how. From else I got how. I'm going to compare is how greater than else string. If it is, then else string equal to how. Otherwise, ignore, do nothing. And now I have to start forming second set of word. So I'm resetting current string to blank because I have to form next set of word now. Then again I form next set of word. Compare. Okay. So earlier how, then earlier this has 3 and this also has 3. So I don't have to change it. So I'll ignore. Then again reset current string. Reset current string happens in both the cases, whether you want to interchange the value or not. Right? So current is reset to 0. Again you check the next word. And keep checking the word and keep checking the size. Did that make sense?